What's up, everybody? It's the American Pikey here. I'm sitting in my camper, and this morning I wanted to talk a little bit about economics, because I mentioned before, part of me moving into this camper is to kind of rethink the way we live in the 21st century, with technology being what it is, with the world being what it is, and everything else. And the key part of that, the key focus of that is economics. Now, I'm not an economist or anything. I'm a solar technician. But I think economics and electricity have a lot in common. And the reason is because they're both kind of the same. Economics is the study of human energy, really. You know, when you define economics, or how I define economics, is the science of production, consumption, and distribution of goods and services. So everything in life is either a good or a service. Like this is a good, and me going and fixing your solar panels is a service. So everything can either be broken down to a good or a service. Now, we as individuals, we as countries, we as the world, we as, communities or whatever, we produce, consume, and distribute goods and services. And that's what economics is. So, and it's the science of it. So when you think science, you think the scientific method. And so if we apply the scientific method to economics, and the production, consumption, and distribution of goods and services, the first step is to observe, right? That's always the first step of the scientific method, is to observe. So if we're going to observe our personal economy, and this stands true for most people around the country and around the world, is if we take an observation of our personal economy, it goes something like this. We distribute 40 hours of our week in exchange for some form of currency, a representation of that energy, if you will, money. And we'll talk about the problems with that later. But right now what we're doing is we're exchanging our time for money. We're distributing our services, our labor, in exchange for money. And then with that money, we distribute that money for everything else we need in life, almost. Pretty much everything. Food, water, electric, gas, waste management, everything. Transportation, education, healthcare, all of it. So that's our economic circuit, if you will. We distribute our time for money, and then we use that money to buy the stuff we need. It's kind of a crappy circuit. When you break it down, when you start looking at the kind of resistance that's involved in that, and the loss of energy throughout that process, it's not great. So what we're doing is we're distributing time, and then we're distributing money, all for us to consume. So we can consume. That's that other part of economics, consumption, right? So we're not producing anything as individuals for the most part. We go to work for a business, and the business produces something, but we're just trading our labor for that business. And so we're primarily consumers. Our homes are massive consumers. Our homes consume electric. Our homes consume internet. It consumes gas. It consumes oil. It consumes waste management. It consumes time and energy for lawn care management. All that stuff. Maintenance. So all our homes do right now is consume. And we need to start thinking about how to make it produce. And it doesn't necessarily need to produce money. It can produce energy, it can produce food, it can produce all sorts of different things. Things that you need that will benefit you later. If you're producing food, you're still spending time and energy, but now you're not spending time and energy on lawn maintenance, just keeping grass a certain length. Now you're actually getting something out of it. It's production for food for your family. And we need to start evolving into that. We need to start bringing the necessities of life back closer to home, instead of getting them from faraway places that we have no idea where they come from or what's in them or anything else. And so that's one thing I want to do when I hit the road, is try and find places that are doing these sorts of things and have a productive personal home, local community economy that is that can be emulated and recreated for other people. And so I think that's what we need to start thinking about, is think about your home economy and think about what you're producing. Are you producing anything? Are you just consuming, or are you distributing your time and then distributing the money? Maybe you invest the money and some of that's bringing something back and producing some more money for you, and that's good. You need to do that. But really, think about the things you consume and the things you produce and distribute, and make a list and see if your list looks balanced to you. I would guess that it's not going to be balanced. Maybe I'll make my next video, maybe I'll make a list of all the things I produce, consume, and distribute, and we'll see what we come up with. So let me know below, what do you think about the different things that we produce, consume, and distribute as far as goods and services, about personal economies, and how can we make them more production-based instead of consumption-based? Distributing time for money is very linear. It's very one thing. It's one circuit, one branch. We need to find more ways to branch out our personal economies and be more productive and grow, instead of just having one source, maybe two sources if you invest, but that second source is based entirely on that first source, and if that first source goes away, then the second source will go away immediately after, or very shortly after. And in electronic terms or electric terms, that makes it more like a capacitor than a battery. A battery can store your energy for a long amount of time, whereas a capacitor, once that power is cut off to it, it drains its power fairly quickly. So think about the different things that we can do to produce more and create new forms of production instead of just that one distribution of time, and see what we come up with. I'm going to make a list. I definitely have lots of ideas on the subject, but I've been going for a little bit now, and we'll come back and we'll do another video on this shortly. Thanks for checking it out. Make sure you click the like and subscribe button below, leave a comment, and I'll see you next time.